I'm gonna go ahead and keep it a buck and say that these are becoming some of my favorite videos to make, these versus videos, because I honestly have so many ideas for different verses that I could fill up this whole channel with them. Things that people haven't talked about, never will talk about more than likely, things that only my brain can come up with. And this is one of them because I just finished watching Eternals for the second time. And after watching Shang-Chi several times and watching Eternals for a second time, I actually kind of warmed up a little bit with Eternals a little bit more. It's still not the best. It's still mid-tier MCU movie. And I think it would have been better as a series like Moon Knight, but at the same time, it wasn't really that bad. And honestly, I liked it better the second time I watched it. But this is a really interesting fight because a lot of people were talking about who could go up against Ikaris, and they were obviously targeting the recent hero of Marvel, which is Shang-Chi, especially for what he did at the end of the movie. So here are my 2 cents on how this fight will go. Ikaris wins. Boom, there you go. You guys go ahead and click off the video. Bye-bye. Go somewhere else. You guys already seen it. Oh, you want to hear the explanation for this? Okay, so Shang-Chi has a lot of abilities. I think Shang-Chi one-on-one is a much better combatant. I think he is on par with Athena. We saw that Ikaris really isn't like a combatant like that. He isn't, you know, doesn't know martial arts. He's just super strong. It's like Superman, like what you would imagine Superman. And I'm not talking like the in-depth stories of Superman where maybe he got trained in some form of martial arts. I'm talking about just base Superman, like he has no martial arts training, but he's just really powerful. I'm talking about Homelander. I'm talking about all those guys, Omni-Man. Just super powerful, super strong, all these Superman types, but they don't have any martial arts training. I think Shang-Chi beats him 100% on that martial arts training, and I think it would actually be a really interesting fight. I think that the rings itself, I think that's where we're getting this interest in this versus, because the rings are very similar to Vasto's discs, and Vasto's discs actually stopped Ikaris. They held him down. They made sure that he couldn't move anymore. And you know, Vastos actually was a threat to Ikaris. And so with Shang-Chi having these discs, the rings, I mean, yeah, like he could actually do some real damage, especially with the Dragon Ball Z style attacks that he kind of came up with at the end of Shang-Chi. That being said, that being 100% said, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think that Ikaris is by far one of the coolest tropes when it comes to the evil Superman genre, because each evil Superman that I've seen, including evil Superman, they all have different characteristics and different motivations, you know? And I love them all, honestly. I'm actually really into that genre. So Ikaris is one of the most interesting ones for me because he is basically tasked with with making sure that the Celestial gets born. He turns against the other Eternals, just like Kingo. Kingo did basically the exact same thing. He was just gonna let it ride and enjoy his last days on Earth because he realized how important the Celestials were to the universe. And I would say Ikaris took that 100%. Ikaris was also a little bit broken because he was told the information so early on that he ended up leaving the rest of the Eternals, showing that he actually had a conflict of interest in his heart because of how much he loved the other Eternals and how much he loved Circe. So with all that being said, Ikaris honestly just gets the job done regardless, no matter what, until the very end when he kind of gives up against Circe. But against somebody like Shang-Chi, I'll be honest, Ikaris would just grab Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi would probably struggle a little bit, you know, hitting Ikaris, trying to get him to get off of him or whatever. But all that Ikaris would have to do is throw Shang-Chi into orbit, and that would be it. Shang-Chi cannot breathe in space, and Ikaris seems to not need to breathe in space at all. He's an Eternal. He went straight into the sun, and that's how he committed suicide. But yeah, he doesn't need to breathe at all. So honestly, the fight goes Ikaris's way until we see more from Shang-Chi. Anything that he's got to combat that, being flown into space, or even just being like, you know, having his heart broken through him with a fist or something like that. Yeah, I give this fight to Ikaris all day long. That's the verdict.